and welcome everyone. My name's Chef Dylan and this is Sticky Fingers Cooking School. In just a few minutes here, we're going to start cooking up our recipe of the day. I'll go over that in a few minutes. I'm going to let everyone kind of trickle in for a second. Head over to your sink, wash your hands if you're going to be cooking with me. And in just a couple seconds here, we'll get going. In the meantime, a little bit about Sticky Fingers. We've been around since 2012, cooking up a storm in schools, libraries, and now in kitchens virtually all over the world for the last 10 years. We're predominantly focused on cooking classes for your kids, but we also do family classes for you in your homes too. We've got lots of cookbooks that are coming out this year. We've got 2 out already. So if you're interested in any of that stuff I mentioned, cooking classes, cookbooks, summer camps, head down to our links in the description and check out our multiverse. But with all that being said, let's get into the cooking, what you came for. So today we're going to make 2 different kinds of hummus. All right, what is hummus though? So hummus is a Middle Eastern dip made from a chickpea or a garbanzo bean. You can see it started to fall apart there. The peel came right off. So a chickpea will then get roasted and blended up with lots of other ingredients to make a dip. All right, if you can see here, I've made a little tray with some strawberries and some sliced bell pepper and some pita chips. So I'm going to make myself a little lunchtime snack out of some hummus and just random things to dip into all of my yummy dips that I make. I always joke with my partner at home, he's vegan, and I always joke that hummus is like the glue that holds his whole diet together because he loves it, it's good for you, and it's totally vegan. So without further ado, let's jump into it. The first thing you'll need to do is gather your ingredients. You'll need 1 to 2 cans of chickpeas for this recipe. Kind of depends if you want a lot or a little. I love chickpeas, so I actually brought 3 cans. I'm crazy and just love hummus so much that I thought, let's make a lot and then I'll bring it home. Okay, so I have all my chickpeas here. And what I did first was I just took them out of their cans, put them into a strainer, gave them a quick rinse. I think when foods are canned, they sometimes take on a little bit of that canny metallic flavor. So when it's appropriate, I like to rinse all of my canned foods off just to get as much of that off of there as possible. Then while I'm talking, you can start pinching your chickpea. I'll do another one so you can see a little clearer there. You can pinch and peel off these little skins. They sit in a pool of water, and so the skin falls right off of them when they're out of the can. So start peeling some chickpeas until you've got about a cup for each of your recipes. We're going to make a sweet and a savory today. And for my savory, I chose a bell pepper hummus. I had a bunch of little scraps from my bell peppers for my snack plate that you saw. So I thought, hey, why not? I'll make a bell pepper hummus. And along with that one, along with the bell pepper, to the savory, we're going to add minced garlic. I just minced this up really quickly and crushed 3 cloves of garlic with a little tool I have. But you can always just use like a tablespoon or a teaspoon of whatever garlic you have at home, whether it's garlic powder or minced garlic. You can use whatever kind you prefer. Then I also have, for some spices and herbs, I have salt, pepper, cumin, and paprika in a bowl for my savory. And I won't use all of this, but some cilantro. I really like having some green color to go on top of my hummus at the end, so that's where that one came from. I'm going to show you here in just a second, if I can grab it all. These are all the spices that I could have chosen from though. I brought tons. Sesame seeds, ginger, nutmeg, chili powder, you name it. I kind of just brought a ton of different things so that I could have choices. Okay, moving on to our sweet one. I brought for that one a little bit of cinnamon, salt again, less than for the savory, so just a small pinch, some cocoa powder, and some ginger. In my brain, when I was thinking of the flavors, I don't know if anyone here has had Mexican hot chocolate before, but you get like this cinnamon, chocolate, smoky flavor together. And I just love those flavors combined. So I thought, let's try to maybe make a hummus. It's similar to that. Okay. And then for the green on top of that one, a little mint. If you're in the kitchen with your kiddos, make sure you encourage lots of smells. It's always good to smell your foods as you go because it evokes, it makes you think of memories and thoughts of when you cooked those foods before. So moving on, we've got most of our ingredients out. There's just two more. And they're the secret to making the best hummus. Your favorite olive oil. And I used olive oil for this one because it's full of flavor. Canola oil, avocado oil, they're not really going to do the trick as much as an olive oil will do for this recipe. And then the key is tahini. What's tahini? It's sesame seeds roasted and blended into this liquid. So you can imagine it's got a really nice flavor to it, and it's going to make our food creamy. Think like peanut butter, but made from sesame seeds. It's so amazing in making hummus. Okay. So there we have it. All of our ingredients should be out and in their place now. Let's get everything prepared to turn into hummus. Now I have a little food processor here. And this is how I'm going to make my hummus. I'm just going to blend everything right up in here. We're going to make smooth hummus. So it's going to be very creamy and delicate. But I wanted to show you too, if you wanted to make it a little more chunky, there's many ways to make hummus. You can leave your chickpeas blended into a fine meal like this and just gently stir in all of the ingredients that I'm going to mention from here on to make a little bit more of a chunky, textured hummus. I want mine to be smooth today. So I'm going to just kind of start pouring ingredients into my blender. Now, I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of tahini per batch. So that's about half of this container for each batch of my hummus. And I'm going to start with my sweet batch. All right, I'm going to start with my sweet batch of hummus. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to start with my savory batch. So I'm going to just start pouring in my little bell peppers. I don't want to overfill my container. I've got all my savory spices, the cumin, the paprika, the salt and pepper. All of those things smell so good. And fun story too, when I first started learning how to cook, I was like obsessed, and I mean obsessed with spices. My parents, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, my parents had a cabinet full of spices that I really didn't touch for the longest time because I was sort of afraid to mess up our recipes at home. And so when I moved out of the house and started playing around with spices myself, I started realizing that combining spices is so much fun. So when I first started learning how to cook, one of the flavors that I combined was called Ras Al Hanout, which I always thought was kind of a funny name for a spice mixture. So that's what I made today, is a mixture of cumin and paprika and lots of delicious flavors from the Middle East. If I didn't mention too, our recipe today is coming from Egypt. I keep saying Middle East, but more specifically Egypt. This recipe can be traced back almost 800 years. Kind of crazy to think about. So I'm going to twist on my lid, plug it in, and just start blending. These things always give me trouble. Here we go. So I'm going to start blending. And the light yellow chickpeas are, you can see it's starting to turn a little darker orange as the peppers blend in. And I'm just going to keep spinning and spinning. All right, so I'm going to take this off for just a second and take a look. It's super chunky still, and that's where the olive oil comes in. As you're blending, add little splashes of olive oil as you go, and then continue to blend until you get the perfect desired texture of your savory hummus that you're looking for. Okay, so I've added my olive oil, and I'm going to keep blending now. Perfect. Now it's looking great. All right, everyone. So I'm going to take out my hummus now. Careful to avoid the blade. I'm going to just go ahead and transfer this into a little bowl off to the side, and we'll take a taste in a few minutes. Okay, I'll take a taste in a few minutes and see how it goes. I want my hummus to have a second to rest. The friction from the blade probably heated it up a little bit, and I want my hummus to be nice and cooled down. All right. Give that a little mix and set to the side. Now, for the next one. This one I'm going to use my already blended up chickpeas to make, and we're going to go ahead and make the sweet mixture, our dark chocolate one. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I cut up some strawberries too. So I'm gonna make a dark chocolate hummus with strawberries to dip into it. I thought that sounded delicious, like a chocolate covered strawberry almost. So for this one, just take the rest of your olive oil, another 3 tablespoons of olive oil and 3 tablespoons of tahini. Add that into your bowl with your chickpeas. Look how creamy and delicious that looks. Wonderful. Get that in there. And then I have my chocolate mix here, my almost hot cocoa mix. I'm going to just dump that straight on in. Looks like it's going to stick to the bowl too. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to just start stirring that up and we'll see. I don't know about you guys, but I have never had chocolate hummus before. This is going to be a new one for me. So I'm really, really excited to try it. Should be delicious. Should be unique. All right, just a little bit more olive oil in here. And then it's going to be perfect. This one will be a little more chunky. Awesome. Now I'm looking over here at the rest of my ingredients, all right? And I have some minced up garlic left and some mint left. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those 2 ingredients to their correct bowls. I didn't really want the garlic to get blended into it too much because then I'm gonna get too many spicy bites throughout all of my food. So I'm just gonna leave it minced, throw a little dollop in there, and mix that in right here at the end. Okay, so I'm gonna take my garlic, mix in 2 cloves of garlic into my savory mixture. Here, I'll tilt my bowl so everyone can start to see. It's coming together very nicely. It took on that red color from our red bell pepper, and it's just looking amazing in this bowl. So there we go. We have our garlic in there. And now, everyone, I took my mint and I chiffonaded it. I cut it into tiny little strips. I like to do that because it makes me feel very fancy when I say the word chiffonade. So I'm going to take just a pinch of my mint that I chopped up, maybe 3 or 4 leaves, and add it into my container of chocolate hummus. So if you couldn't tell everyone, hummus is a blank canvas, okay? You take chickpeas, you take tahini and olive oil and a little salt, and then that's your base. From there, you add your flavors. I chose bell peppers and garlic and cilantro for my savory one, and chocolate and cinnamon and strawberries for my sweet one. Okay, so I've got my hummuses here. They're very nice and thick. I'm super excited to give them a taste now. But of course, I have to plate them up. I love making my food look nice. So I've got some containers here. I'm just gonna put a little dish together of my savory hummus and a little dish for my sweet hummus to add to my plate. So we've got our sweet and our savory hummuses. Let me add those to my little plate here. And there you have it. This looks like an amazing lunch for me, everybody. I've got my sweet chocolate hummus here with some mint. I've got my bell pepper hummus here with some garlic added. And then all my snacks. I love dipping food. I don't know about anyone out there, but dipping foods has got to be one of the best ways to eat foods. So I'm going to take my strawberry and try my chocolate one now. This might be a two-hand job. Oh, here we go. So good, so delicious. I'm not the biggest sweets lover, so I didn't put any extra added sugar into this recipe. What I think I'm gonna do is just drizzle a little honey over the top of my sweet hummus now to give it that extra perfect amount of sweetness I need. So good with the strawberries though, holy cow. All right, on to the bell pepper one. I wanted to point something out too. Look at how beautiful my bell pepper is. It's got multiple colors on it because all bell peppers come from the same seed. And as they ripen, they change to these different colors of reds and oranges and yellows. So sometimes you can find one that's a little bit of a rainbow, sort of like a fun food scavenger hunt at your store. All right, let's try the savory. Ooh, there we go. That one's way more my tempo. I love how savory it is. The cumin really mixes so nicely with the garlic, and the bell pepper is spread all throughout it. Obviously, I had one as a snack too. So yummy. And guys, that took me like 10 minutes to put all of that together. Okay? If I can do it, you can do it too. The last thing I wanted to say is that after you taste your food, sorry, I'm still chewing. After you taste your food, it's always good to be a little critical of yourself and adjust the flavors. So for my savory one, I'm going to add a little lemon juice to it. I've got some sitting over here. I'm just going to add some lemon juice to it. Maybe add a little extra salt and pepper. But other than that, I think I'm ready to go and enjoy my amazing lunch here. So if you were cooking with me, bon appetit. Go and enjoy your delicious hummus now. I'm going to go enjoy mine. This has been Chef Dylan with Sticky Fingers Cooking School. Have a fabulous day, everybody.